Hello, Central Region partners. If you're watching this, I hope it's because you want to learn more about the Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement Grant, much more conveniently called the LFPA grant, which has just been released by the State Department of Health. And it's great news that you're here because we need collaborators from across our 9-county region to make a plan to spend $800,000 in the most equitable and smartest way possible. I'm Sarah Nickham, Food Systems Specialist for the City of Indianapolis, and the purpose of this video is to invite you to help our region make a plan for spending $800,000 on buying and distributing local food. First, we'll run through the RFP released from the State Department of Health, and then at the end, we'll have some next steps for you should you choose to accept them. The proposal responses are due on August 1st, so let's get right into it. Our 9-county region will receive $800,000 in ARPA funds to support local food in Indiana. And these funds are already allocated, so we're not competing with anybody for the funds. We just have to create a proposal to show how we're going to use them in order to receive them. At least 51% of the funds, or $408,000 or more, must be spent on the direct purchase of local food from socially disadvantaged farmers. And then that food must be distributed free of charge to underserved communities in our region. So the idea is that we're buying food directly from farmers to provide an economic opportunity and then distributing that to populations that typically don't get coverage from traditional food access services. To receive the $800,000, our region must submit one unified proposal to the State Department of Health that addresses the Lfpa Objectives, which are to increase local food consumption and build economic opportunity for local socially disadvantaged farmers and ranchers, to target distribution and access for underserved communities using non-traditional distribution methods, and to build equity within the local and regional food system. Now let's talk about those qualifiers: socially disadvantaged farmers and underserved communities. The USDA ERS definition of socially disadvantaged farmer is those belonging to groups that have been subject to racial or ethnic prejudice, such as farmers who are Black and African American, American Indian or Alaskan Native, Hispanic or Latino, and Asian or Pacific Islander. And our regional cohort can choose to expand that definition to include other groups with a justification. The underserved communities are those not normally served through traditional food distribution networks, and the State Department of Health has provided a map resource to show us in what areas there is typically a gap in food coverage. So with those two parameters, we know where the food should come from, and we also know where it should go. There are also some guidelines for spending the $800,000. At least one value chain professional must be designated to manage the program for this proposal, can be more than one. At least 51%, or that $408,000, must be spent on the direct purchase of food from farmers. Training and administrative costs are allowed for implementation of the program. Distribution and last mile transportation costs can be reimbursed, and some equipment rental will be allowed, but foods cannot be used for the production of food or to purchase any equipment, and they can also not be used for agricultural training and certification costs. So spending from this program is strictly meant to acquire food from socially disadvantaged farmers and to get it to underserved residents. We're not competing for the money. Our region is guaranteed to get $800,000. We just have to write a proposal to spend it. So what happens now? You need to tell the State Department of Health how this money will be spent. Voices from all 9 counties are needed to make this plan equitable, especially from the socially disadvantaged farmers, since they are the ones who will be supplying food into the program, at least $408,000 of food or more over 2 years. Our region also must create a leadership body called the Regional Partnership Cohort that will be responsible for submitting our proposal. The cohort should have significant minority representation and must comprise at least 5 organizations, including a fiscal agent. This group will be responsible for creating the unified proposal, and the fiscal agent will be responsible for overseeing program funds, and they will also be the one who ultimately submits the proposal. And one note about that fiscal agent, it cannot be a farm or a farmer who is participating in the program. So if you are a farmer who's producing and selling into the program, you may not serve as the fiscal agent for this 2-year program. So are you interested in participating or leading this effort? Do you know someone who should be involved in planning how to spend this money? We want to hear from you. If you were at any of the planning sessions before the LFPA grant was released with Indiana Partners in Farming, or the Hoosier Young Farmers Coalition, or Legacy Taste of the Gardens was also involved in the planning. If you are in touch with those folks, chances are you've already received communication from us. So check your email, and I promise that you will be receiving more emails. If you haven't and you want to be involved, please reach out to the 2 email addresses I'm going to list on the next slide. We are not the leaders for this proposal. We are simply the conveners, and we will connect you with people who are going to be involved with writing the proposal, and we want to make sure that your voice is heard as a member of the food system. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts about how the LFPA program can help build equity for farmers over the next 2 years. Thank you.